last 4 wins for this team were by an average of 22 points. This game was a 1-point game with under 5 to go. Like, why is it important to also win games like this?
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to have to battle through some adversity, whether it's a 35-minute delay to start the game or Utah playing well and making shots. And anytime you can get late game reps, that stuff's always important, no matter who the opponent is, just so you can go through your decision making and thought process and whatnot. So you'd love to win every game by 30, but that's just not the nature of the league. So I thought that was good for us.
How did the 35-minute delay impact anything for you?
It was definitely odd. Kenny told us pretty quick he felt like it was going to be pretty long. So he said, you guys should probably just go back in the locker room. But I guess guys wanted to stay and hang out with the fans. So it was an interesting time.
Season high for you, 6 threes. You also always seem to play well against the team that you grew up rooting for. But what allowed you to find such a shooting rhythm tonight?
Just keep shooting, man. It's what, I feel obviously very confident in my abilities, and feel like I've had some bad luck so far this year. So just keep shooting, keep being aggressive, and felt like tonight was an opportunity. I wouldn't say there was anything crazy different when I play Utah, but it is fun to play. To play that team. So it was a fun one tonight.
You mentioned bad luck in terms of your shot lately. Do you kind of feel a sense of relief after a night like tonight where you see 6 of them go in?
I wouldn't say relief, but more just like, okay, it was nice to, finally have something like that. Just if I have one bad shooting game, I try and say it's just one game. So if I have one good shooting game, I just try and say it's one game. So it's all about just trying to be consistent, and hopefully this was, the springboard I needed.
Is it ever hard for you to stay even keeled like that?
Oh yeah, I think it's hard for anybody to, when you have a stretch where, like I've had, where I've had some, bad shooting, but I've also had a lot of shots that I felt like, generally go in and aren't going in. So I just try and trust my work and trust the process, and understand that it's a long season. So as long as I stay aggressive and look for the shots that I feel confident I can make, it'll all work itself out.
Did you change anything in terms of post shoot around routine, get here before the game a little bit early, anything along those lines?
Yeah, I feel like there was maybe last week, I felt like I was probably overworking a little bit just to try and get out of it, and felt like I was starting to get tired, so I just took a couple days off and just got away from the court. But I'm not like all that superstitious or anything like that, so again, it's like I don't have to make a certain amount in a certain spot or whatever or anything like that. I just try and when I'm doing my pregame stuff or post shoot around or pre-practice, it's just trying to keep my conditioning up, trying to get into rhythm, nothing crazy.
The minute load and just being an everyday part of this rotation too, that's something that probably the first time that you've had this in your career. How do you feel like you've adjusted to that, and has anything like that affected any of your play on the court too?
No, I mean, I feel like I've obviously played very well this year. The whole team has played well. It's pretty easy the way we play, but I've had to adjust a little bit what I do on practice days or recovery days. I try and get a lot of work in on the court, and I've had to, like I mentioned, I've had to slow that down a little bit. And we've got, our performance staff tracks all that stuff. So our guy came up to me last week and was like, "You're doing similar work on the court that you did last year, but you're obviously beginning of the season playing way more minutes than I played last year." So I'm glad that we have that type of technology to see how I can improve and whatnot.
How much do you trust in that kind of stuff?
I think it helps for sure, and Kenny and the staff have really leaned on that and focused on making sure that we're getting the right recovery and getting the work that we need on court, but making sure we're staying fresh And you know, he said early in the season, he said, "Hey, if you guys are fresh, you'll play well," and I tend to agree with that.
With Max being back now and having to work back from an ankle injury, something that you've dealt with in your career, have there been conversations with him on how to manage those and get back into those situations as well?
2018.
Nothing crazy. He's done a great job with his rehab, and you know, he's asked me a couple times about. He asked me about a certain part of his ankle that was hurting. He's like, "Did this hurt when you were coming back?" And I told him, "Listen, every part of my ankle has hurt for the last 3 years." So he's, you know, he looks really good out there physically. So
You talking Max? Oh, that's good.
so we're excited to, you know, get him back in the game.